Hi, thanks for joining me. So this week I've got two paintings to share with you that I believe, now it's Thursday, I believe I've brought to finish just this morning. One of them I've added a few shadows, one of them I've redone some pieces. I've been through an interesting time this week of feeling the discomfort of how the paintings were going, how I was feeling making the paintings actually. That was a challenging part. And so having to work through that because of a sort of a deadline for an online gallery that these two and hopefully three will be heading to. I'll share more about that another time maybe, or if you keep an eye on my Instagram, you'll see when they're ready to be shared on there to talk about that. So yeah, there's sort of all patchy bits and pieces that I've just recorded sporadically this week, from Monday morning feeling, where am I going to go? And then bringing them to now. And now the sun's coming back. I'm sorry about the lighting and everything. It's all a bit patchy. What else do I want to say? I'll leave it there and I'll put all the videos in. And then I think I'll record another little piece that I can put at the end. Good morning, it's Monday morning, and unfortunately I've ran out of videos, I think, to be in front with my YouTube. So this will be maybe kind of like this week happening on Friday. This is what happened. I've had an invitation to put some work into a thing that I'm not going to mention yet, just so in case this all falls apart and I don't get the work done. That would be awful. And so I've just got half done or half started things everywhere, not everywhere, but you know, in the vicinity, and nothing is really running smoothly. So it's freaking me out a little bit. And so I thought, why don't I just tell you that? And I look forward to circling back around. Maybe I can show and tell what I'm up to at the minute. And it would be lovely if I can then work through that this week, work it all out by Thursday, edit this and share it with you. Okay, so here's where we're at this minute. I got a whole bunch of canvases, 30 by 30, and I just splashed some ink around for some fun to see what would happen. I'm not very excited with what I've done really, but even if they end up being painted white again, don't worry, it's a start. And then, inspired by a pair that I did recently that I would have shared with you, with a lady in a green dress sitting a lot like this, and I loved her so much, I thought, I have to do more in that way. Oh, and I actually have a plan for the painting on her wall. Let me pause. I've got a bit of Marimekko meets Matisse happening, I think. And so these, I'm thinking currently of doing some Marimekko inspired plates, doing some sort of floral something on the table, a bit inspired by my collage over there with the Marimekko tabletop. That's what's sort of thinking here. And also with this one, I was looking at the Marimekko tablecloth and thought, oh yum. And this, and a very loud wallpaper, I know. And so this is what I had thought would be quite yummy, interesting. See how it changes everything when you put a big dramatic pattern in there. And so yesterday I repainted a dress because it just happens that I absolutely adore a green dress, and I'm still trying to get used to a blue dress. So that was interesting because I'm trying to make some changes. But anyway, if that doesn't really resonate with me in the end, and I've ruined her eyes, it looks like she's got eyeshadow with her eyes shut at the moment. If I don't love that blue dress after a little while, might try it with some stripes or take it to green, because the green, you can't go wrong with green for me at the moment, just can't. And and then I've got this one over here, also inspired by the one I did before, and just playing with some Matisse collagey bits and still deciding whether it's a good idea to actually stick on collage bits. I had to paint the paper to get some colors that I wanted, even though I painted some with gouache and I didn't love the colors. They're far too sort of fluoro. Quite funny, eh? The fluoro, they just came out so fluoro. They're not quite the shades that I was looking for to go with this, but I was sort of liking that lilac-y colour. So yeah, I'm still deciding whether it will be better to paint these shapes or use collage. So I have quite, and then I've got these, you know, a bit of kind of dried up leaves happening. I am a little bit all over the place, I must admit. Trying to bring myself into focus is tricky today, tricky recently. So that's where I'm at, and I'll pop back in when I'm hopefully moved these along somewhere. I'm holding this by hand because reason it's just quicker. All right, so I've done a bit more on the table, added some bits and pieces, and now when I look at it, the Marimekko big design isn't working, and so regroup. Lucky, that's the beauty of using collage, you can try it on. I just wanted to show you a fun little thing that I did. Okay, pause. Yeah, you're really seeing disorganization in action today. All right, so what I did was I had that on there, and then I thought, oh, maybe it needs a chair behind, behind this table to bring a bit more dimension. And then I made them longer and cut it off too short. So now I have painted a piece of paper to make a new chair. But if I take that away, it just shows you, I mean, I can paint it in now. I was doing it collage because I was sticking over collage and I didn't want to have bumps. And so now I'm looking, oh, isn't that fun? That design. I have it on a T2 tin. Isn't that fun? I'm really not comfortable with drawing cougars, jaguars, lions, whatever these are, big cats. Not really, not my normal. What is this? Melbourne breakfast. Nice. But I've been eyeing off these. They've been hanging around. I moved them into the studio because I loved what was going on. And isn't that interesting? Probably permission giving to use the bright orange in a way there. So that's fun. And so I might consider, how could I be inspired by this using what color palette I have going on, and maybe bring in my elephant, because I'm enjoying the elephant in the room idea at the moment, and I'm liking bringing it into each painting in a little way if I can. So that's my thought process at the moment, bringing you along. Having a bit of trouble getting into these paintings really, but I did have the idea, and I've used my brand new masking fluid gadget, which has got a really fine nozzle. And somebody's here in the studio with me. And so I thought I would have a go at making some lines with it, and make the tablecloth maybe white, and it'll have a nice pink line through it now because of the masking fluid. But yeah, it'll just be interesting how it works. Quite enjoying this one now. There's a real gentleness that's come over this, kind of like laying down that white tablecloth, and so I'm looking forward to having that be dry, and then I'll bring out the pink stripes again. And so what I've got going on is I've sort of made this thinking, this is one idea I had. I'm interested in these sort of collage-y pieces. And so I thought, my elephant in the room thing, and then a sort of a magpie idea here. So I kind of liked that, and I'm wondering about that. But then I'm a bit stumped as to what to do here, and so I'm just sort of wondering. So I thought, oh, so maybe I'll try this. So this is the Marimekko piece. I'll scoop them up for now and pop them over here. And I actually cut a little slither off of it from maybe to fit it on the other piece, but now I'm wondering about fitting it on this piece. And so then I would just have to bring the chair back over there. If I want it to be that big, let me just try and bring you out a bit so you can see the whole story. I've got collage and stuff everywhere. So now I'm wondering about that. I kind of like it. It's a bit interesting how it's where your eye goes. So I'm conscious that this high contrast is where your eye goes, and so then this is like secondary. So I've just got to hang out with that. Is that okay? Am I okay with that? I will consider that for a bit before I glue it down. Well, since we're having a chat about things here, I will show you another idea I was having over here with this other one. But boy, everything has been not flowing easily for me. It's like I've had a lot of busy mind, and trying to calm that so that I can hear the guidance of where the painting wants to go has been quite tricky. So I was playing with this Matisse inspiration idea. So I was playing with this. I was thinking, all right, so bring the blue up into there. So I painted some pieces, and they've ended up a bit too big, but I'll show you the idea of what's happening here, just in case it's of interest or inspiration. And then I got this so I was sort of trying to replicate the colours that were in that sort of Matisse one, and did my own sort of shape. They're kind of like a woman. These are like a woman shape, so I tried to just do my own. And then they ended up looking a bit more like vases to me. So I sort of decided to cut a piece out, and I can put it in that side. So that was an idea. But it was sort of, so I'll look at it through the camera. That kind of helps, actually. Look at it through the camera and see. Yeah, I'm kind of liking it, but it's interesting, actually. Yeah, I think it might be better if I just actually paint it rather than putting collage on this piece. I'm not opposed to putting collage on pieces, but I feel like that is so different to what I have going on. I don't know that it's... don't know. Interesting, huh? It's possible I could paint the backgrounds and maybe use just the blue pieces of collage. I just sort of feel like I'm going to get into a bit of trouble when I try and glue that all down, put it all down. There's like... it looks too much like I didn't know what to do, so I stuck something on, which is sort of true, and I don't want that to be the story. So I'm just sharing that thought process with you. It's helping me see. Oh, interesting. Oh, I was going to say that looked like it was paler than that. Not quite. But yeah, this drawing with scissors idea that Matisse did is very appealing, very attractive to me. I want to do more of that somehow. So anyway, that's where that's going. As I said, I'm just being a little very hesitant. It's because they're paintings, see, and they're not being treated as much like a page in the art journal. If you treat it like a page in the art journal, I think it allows you to be more free. So I'm not feeling incredibly free. tried all kinds of ideas on the wall for this, and I was going to sort of try and do a painting, but it's so much easier to do one of those sort of free, loose, abstract type paintings separate to a small space. For example, I had this large piece that I was having a rough day recently, and I just could not bring myself, I just couldn't paint, I don't know, whatever. And so I just threw some color onto a page, did a bit of scribbling, did a bit of writing, you know, just moved some things around on a surface really. And now that I come to this, I decided, I tried one sample square already, it's under the rubble here, and then it had a bit of red, it had a bit more color in it, and I thought, no, I don't want to have this be too distracting, too much. But so I'm thinking that this piece is going to be in here, because this one, as I showed you earlier, it's just arguing, not arguing, but it's too dramatic, too loud, and then you can't even, this is like a little tiny story whispering over here, doesn't even matter. It's like all you can see is that. So it made me realize, but you see, you don't realize that sometimes until you try it. And so then I found, maybe I'll find the other piece. Honestly, it's no wonder I'm feeling a little jittery, and I can't, you know, it's like I'm all over the place. There's stuff everywhere. I really need to do something about that. Anyway, but one of the things that's on my mind is I really want to make a video this week. I'm determined to do the video each week. So it does create a little pressure, but it also creates a bit of energy. So this one here is the one I tried out first. And I wrote in such a way at the time that it wasn't meant to be legible. And so you sort of get away with that, which is okay. So you see this piece, I felt, oh, I got a bit excited. I thought, oh, this looks interesting. How about that? And I liked it for a minute. I liked that I brought some of the lavendery purple into here. It's got some pink in it. But again, this was starting to take a bit more attention than this. So it's like, I want something here that complements the space, but this is the story. This is where I want the eyes to go. I want the, you know, like there's a conversation going on here between these different plates, these chairs, this florals. Interestingly, this is directly inspired by a Marimekko advertisement in the journal spread I made about my Patreon, being like a tea house. So I love that the inspiration I was seeking for Patreon has woven back into my work. So I like that everything kind of sings and talks to each other. That's sort of important to me. It makes me feel kind of whole. I'm not trying to be different selves, but all the different parts of me get to have a voice, you know, or even talk to each other, which is lovely. And so then this one I found in that larger piece and cut it up, and I just thought, how much better am I feeling about this one? I have been wondering, do I need to put some tiny specks of dark so that it kind of relates somewhere with these darks? But I actually don't think I do. You know why I'm thinking that? Is because what I thought was, I could benefit from looking at this as if it's its own piece of art, which in a sense, that's what it is. It's a piece of art I'm putting on the wall in this room. And so does it need some darks, some lights, some, you know, does it need something else? Or is it a kind of light pattern picture type thing? So I'll try it upside down just for fun. It's interesting. I repainted the wall. I made it a tiny bit lighter. And in the mixture of pink that I made, so I ordered some of these off eBay, these little containers. And so in this mixture of pink, it's a bit of a mess, I might have to touch up. Oh gosh, I haven't felt this discombobulated for a little while. Anyway, and so yeah, I put a bit of this sort of beigey colour, a tiny bit of the lavender, and I put the two different pinks that I used in the first time through so that it would be in harmony with what I already had going on. Okay, and so then if I place that one there, ideally it might have been nice to have the painting dropping down behind the chair, but when you look at the room, it's low enough on the wall, you know, for them to just be that whisker away from each other. That's okay. So yeah, I think that is practically resolved this piece. I'm just going to let the matte medium dry and I'll touch it up, and I might do some white on that skirting board. And you'll see I've put some of my pen lines in this as if it's a drawing plus a painting and some collage. It's like, well, it's sort of true mixed media, I suppose. And I'm okay with that. You know, I'm making it okay to do something with a range of different surfaces, and it's all speaking to me. It makes sense to me in my life, and that's what's important with my art, really. So yeah, that one there is coming together, I believe. See how this white's a bit too strong? It's a bit too strong. Whereas this one, I used a bit of a warmer white. There's a softening, there's a bit of warmth, and it feels lovely. It's because I was using gouache. I've been trying to use gouache on these pieces, but you know, so this one here has mostly been painted with gouache. So that's what I think. I will seal this and revisit the tablecloth with a warmer white, and then I might have to bring the pink line back in, maybe using a paint marker, because these fine lines are really hard to do with a brush when they're so short. So that's that. And then still trying to figure out what to put on her wall. I might have to leave them, you know, like let sleep on it type thing, but I'll do that part. What I'm noticing about the placement of this table, the morning sun's coming in here and I'm right-handed, so I make shadow. It's making it hard for me to see what I'm doing, and obviously for the video to see what I'm doing. So, you know, these are not instructional videos. These are just you hanging out with me. So I'm not going to freak out. I just need to get the work done, and I'm happy to share the process. And so what I think I might try and do here is put a white stripe through the tablecloth. I think I'm almost circling back to what I had in the beginning, but maybe just white, so that it speaks to the white here, and gives it a little bit more life. When I showed this painting to my husband yesterday, he said that it looked so flat. And I think it still sort of does, but I've just been bringing a little bit of shading in and a little bit on her face there. And it's sort of, it's kind of a style that it is a bit flat, I think. Using gouache paint is flat. It's a matte paint. So yeah, it was interesting, a bit of a punch in the guts, but I also acknowledged that I wasn't feeling thrilled with it either. The tablecloth was annoying the heck out of me with all the different versions I had of it. It started to just get too neat and just taking over. So yeah, I think it might be interesting. See if I can do the line, sort of just a roughish, you know, chalky, but I see if I can just do a painterly line is what I'm after, rather than very neat. If I wanted very neat, I guess I could use a pen, which is what I ended up doing before, the paint pen with the dark blue. But yeah, look, now I'm getting happier with it, lightening the tablecloth, making it not about the tablecloth. That was the thing. I think I had so many, I had the pink with the navy, with the bits of white showing through, and that was annoying me. So then I put a little green line on each side. It was just becoming all about the tablecloth, and I thought, for goodness sake, this is not about the tablecloth. You know, it's about the relationship between the things that this lady has collected, what she loves, sitting with her cuppa, and you know, the elegance of this. There's a story of the blue things going on more to me than the tablecloth having a big thing to say as well. It's like there's too many things yelling. So that was interesting. I put in some shadows with the other one, but I'm not really sure if I'm going to do that with this one. I don't feel to at the moment, at least, especially maybe when I put this lines in this tablecloth, I'll see what that looks like. Okay, so here's the finished piece of this one. Here's this painting finished. And what I did to make these shadows, I thought, yeah, the shadows is what they added in. I used this. This is a new thing that I just found in the art store I went to on the weekend. Shading grey. And I thought, well, that sounds exactly what I think it means. So let me try it. So I tried it, and I think I'm quite happy with it. So that's shading grey, and that painting, I believe, is done. And the other one, and here's the other one that I'm calling finished. I think you've seen in the last videos the bits and pieces that I've been recording. And so yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with this now. It's like this tablecloth is a mixture of all of these colors into a base of a bit of Australian ghost gum and Titan buff and a little bit of white. So they were like to lighten it. That's what I used to lighten it, I think, and a dash of white. I was kind of aiming to get the similar color that I had going here, so that there's harmony going on, and then, you know, a little speck of these other colors in the mix so that there's a harmony. So that feels really good. I've chosen not to add shadows here. Look how much shadow it's coming with my hand. I did a little bit of this color over here to then bring a little more life to that floor. and I think that I'm calling this one finished too. And I found the little piece that I'd cut out. And so I had originally was going to put that here, so it's like a little vase or something. But I liked just putting it like this, kind of inferring that that could be a plant. There's a little movement in it. And so that felt really nice, just playing with the shapes, very inspired by the way Matisse had done this. And so I felt good in the way that I just made some little changes to what he had done to make it my own. So it's very similar, but it's on its way to being different enough that I felt good that, just that sort of thing, you want to create your own marks on your painting, your own kind of style. So, that's the end of these two as far as they're gone. So, hope you enjoyed that. Okay, hello again. So, I hope you enjoyed that. I wanted to share, I've got an ongoing process going in my mind at the moment of maybe opening up a Patreon account at the end of this month, so beginning August. And so I've been sharing on another video, I've done 3 now, talking about how that's feeling. And I wanted to just mention it here because it's all connected. It has to be all connected. And what am I asking myself, I think, at the moment, is what parts of me do I want to share? What parts of the artist life and my work and that kind of thing, what do I want to share in Patreon that I don't feel able or safe to in YouTube? And so that's one of my questions at the moment for myself. It's sort of like, it's almost like I want to open up like a special place where it can be safer. Maybe that's the word, safer. And also to connect more deeply with people that want to come along on the journey with me. And there might be, and I think maybe I've even mentioned some of this already along the way. So anyway, that's the essential thing that's coming up this week, is that feeling of creating a safe space for ourselves. And dealing with the uncertainty at the moment. Philip is now looking for a new position here. And so, I'm just present to the fact that he's going to be home tomorrow, and then next week he's going to be applying for lots of jobs, and how I'm going to be here doing my thing in my studio part of the house, and having to find ways to make my videos even if someone's in the house that can hear. I think he's really good. I'll probably get him to wear headphones and listen to music or something when I'm going to be talking like I do like this. But anyway, I don't know if that's too much information, but whatever. If you're along for the journey with me and you've come this far in the video, thank you for watching. Thanks for being here. And I look forward to just keeping on making these videos. I feel like I've been growing a lot by putting these together and having these kind of conversations and sharing them. A bit like my favorite podcasts are like this, that there's a level of sharing that just goes below the surface sometimes, and you really hear what's happening for people in their process. I find that really interesting. Like, do you find that interesting? Anyway, I'd love to hear from you, and if you want to be of any kind of support, just like the video, and you could share it with a friend if that makes sense too. But definitely liking the videos apparently helps the algorithm. I noticed last week's video, it's almost like the algorithm just spat that out and said, no, we don't want that one. We want your art ones. So it's so interesting, the difference in numbers of people that saw my previous one talking about painting loose, And then when I shared about the furniture that we did and the tablecloths and that sort of homey one that I did last week was sort of out of keeping with what my theme has been. And I noticed the numbers just plummeted, no new followers that week. Whereas the previous week, I think that I grew by about 50, the account grew by 50. So, you know, for any of you that are YouTubers, you'll understand the gravity of that, and actually for me not making it mean too much. You know, the highs and lows are so much that you just can't stake your well-being or your self-fulfillment or self-esteem on numbers of any kind anywhere on the web, I think. So yeah, that's an ongoing learning as well. So anyway, thanks so much for joining me here, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.